Should we add a link on the show card to go to the detail page?
Yeah, how did I miss that? Okay, let's go do that real quick. Show card, I totally forgot this. We're supposed to bring in a link here. Import, yeah, because we want to be able to get to the show or the details page from the search page. From React router-dom. So import link from React router-dom. And let's see here. Make sure I get this right. Yep. Oh, that's how I missed it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to wrap the wrapper in a link to, and this is going to be a template tag /details/ props.imdb ID. Yeah, how did I miss that? Okay. Yep. Now this is going to complain about this IMDb ID not being there. Something that we can refactor this to be. So rather than being props : and then listing out every single thing possible, we can just say this is a show, right? Because we defined that show type already. And save that. Cool, and now we have this all being wrapped in a link. So if we go back over here, go back. Wow, that doesn't look like it's supposed to. It's abstract. Oh, that's okay. Sorry. Not quite. We're going to actually change link to be wrapper and remove link here. Misread my notes. Okay, so now we're going to have wrapper, which is eventually going to be the link tag. So rather than having this being wrapper equals style.div, what we can actually do is we can have styled components wrap link. This is going to yell at us because, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But you will be getting a flow type error momentarily here. So now if we save that, getting closer. Okay, now we have to add just 2 more lines of CSS here. I'm going to say color black to keep that color of that link text. And then we're also going to have text decoration is none. And then save that, come back over here, and now everything looks like it's supposed to again. And also, now you can click on things and go to their detail pages. And looks like the Breaking Bad one got pulled down. But you can go in and you can click into each one of them. Okay. Any questions about that?
Can you scroll down to the...
I just took the link out of it, and then I put wrapper 2, right? Because that's the property that's going to be passed down into link. I'll talk about the flow error here in just a second. Any other questions about that? And cool. So I just perpetually have issues with styled components and flow. So there's a couple ways you can solve this. One of them is you can just say link is any. I think that would work. So this is a good way of doing it. This is just saying, like, when the library's typings are not exactly how they should be, I'm totally fine just throwing out here and say, you know what, don't check this part. Like, I know this is fine. Like, I know React Router DOM is giving me something that's valid React, so cool, just call that an any. This is called a casting, right? So typically you don't have to worry about typecasting in JavaScript. It's all coerced for you. But in this particular case, we're just going to say this link is an anything. I don't think you can actually identify it as a React component. I think it's going to still yell about that. It's going to say, I don't know what that is, right? Oh, and then yeah, it's not going to like that. Or maybe just don't. Nope. So we're just going to stick with any. Someday they'll fix this and you can come back and not typecast it. But again, this is just saying, for this particular instance, assume link is an any type, which is then going to say, cool, I'm not going to check this particular typing right here. The other one you can do, which I showed you earlier, is just flow fix me, and it's just going to ignore the next line. Either one of those is fine. I'm going to stick with the any for now, but you're welcome to do it either way.
How do you maintain navigation state throughout the app?
The best answer to that question, I think, where possible, you want to stick it in the URL, right? So you have deep links to all of the different states of your app, right? So one thing that we're not doing here that you definitely could do is when you're typing, you know, black right here, you could store that in the URL state. So if someone could copy that link and share it with their friend, or they could bookmark it, all that kind of stuff. It's all very possible to do with React Router. I do not remember how to do it off the top of my head, but it's you would just interact with the history object and say, push this state onto the app or replace the state, depending if you wanted to add a new entry for every, like, you know, BLA and then BLAC and then BLCK. You probably want to do what's called the replace state there, so that it would just be replacing the state every single time. So yeah, navigation state should typically live in the URL, which means you would be interacting with React Router to do that. If you don't want to do that, then you just need to find a common ancestor. Our common ancestor would be app, and keeping it in there. But yeah, we don't have any real navigation state besides the search term. So.
But this person is saying, what order do lifecycle methods execute when you have nested components?
Like, what happens first, the children or the parents components? The real answer to that question is you don't have to care. You can think of each component more or less as an island, because they really shouldn't be interacting with each other in terms of their life cycle methods. Now that's kind of a dodgy answer, and it's also something that's changing, because right now we're on a architecture of React called the stack architecture. This is as of 15.5 and previous. With React 16, we're moving to something called the fiber architecture, which is going to change totally the way that it's a complete rewrite of React. However, it's totally API compatible, so there shouldn't be any breakage from 15.5 to 16. They should just migrate the architecture and nothing changes. And with that, they're going to do all sorts of different ways of when and how components are rendering. And so this is kind of a way of me saying that it doesn't really matter, and I also don't know, because it doesn't matter.